Hello, this is Spidey1958, and welcome to my Let's Play, Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, Episode 17. This, unfortunately, is probably going to be a lot of talking episode. I was hoping to start the big Defenders run, but there's a bunch of quests here I have to deal with. So let's deal with the Storyteller's quest first. Is that you, my savior? I recognize your footsteps, determined footsteps, befitting a determined person. Allow me to thank you again for saving me. Please accept this humble gift as a token of my appreciations. Excuse me. Erebeth had explained you were looking for me. I warned the authorities of Cannabis that the local wardstone had been desecrated. They waved off my warnings and paid for their inaction. I have examined many wardstones, but only in the one guarding Cannabis did I find a flaw. A spot of corruption inside, a vulnerability the demons will surely use. They are able to spread the blight inside the wardstone, corrupt it, and make it their weapon. It frightens me to think what they will be capable of. The wardstone must be destroyed. Who are you and why did you examine the wardstone? I'm the Storyteller, just an old elf, and a bit more. I'm old even for an elf. I've seen many things and have been to many places. Not so long ago I witnessed the making of a young kingdom in the Stolen Lands, led by a remarkable and promising individual. My advice on the complicated matter of conquering the other lands proved useful to the leader. That is not uncommon for me. Some seek my advice or services, and I don't refuse. This is how I acquired my reputation, an old vagrant who never hurt anyone, stayed out of other squabbles, but sometimes gave good advice. I have a few friends in Narrowsane who vouch for my integrity. This is why my humble request to be allowed to see the wardstone was granted. I visited all of them, but only found cause for alarm in Cannabis. Do you wield some special power, some instinct? Yes, to a certain extent, but it is more of a gift. I can see the past, stories that have happened. I can touch an object and shreds of its owner's memories are revealed to my mind. Their emotions, passions, and tragedies. I see visions like I am them, and their stories happen to me. This is my power. I've been roaming the world gathering such stories for many thousands of years, but one day I will gather them all. What blight is concealed in the wardstone? I'm afraid I don't have an answer to your question. To understand the nature of this blight, we need to understand how the wardstones were created, and it is hidden from me. I can only guess. Have you heard of the Red Morning Massacre? A dreadful morning remembered with fear even by those not born at the time. A demoness called Mioga invaded the city with a crowd of her followers and started to do what demons do best, kill and desecrate. They say they covered the wardstone with pieces of dead bodies, splashed it with blood from top to bottom. Could such an abomination darken the radiance of the gift of Iomed herself? The locals think it's impossible, but who knows? It was not the last attack. Many demon leaders brought their unholy forces here, even the terrifying Valor Kurazavazda. Their attacks were rebuffed, but they still reached their target. I think this is when the seed of corruption was planted in the stone. It wouldn't have grown on its own, but the Skari himself has now come to take advantage of this weakness, to open the abscess that has been festering for years, unnoticed by the people of Cannabis. And when the demon lord struck the blow and weakened stone gave in, now it's in demons' hands and nothing is stopping them from spreading the blight through the entire stone and from it to the other stones along the whole perimeter of the world wound. Why did you travel to the wardstones? I tried to see their stories. The visions I had when I touched the wardstone weren't clear. I saw hundreds, maybe thousands of different stories at the same time. They followed each other like flashes of lightning. It was impossible to separate them. I couldn't understand which one of them ended and the next began. I have heard of you, Storyteller. In that case, you must make every possible effort to destroy the corruption. Unfortunately, I don't know where to get an instrument powerful enough to banish it from the wardstone. As far as I know, there's nothing like it in Cannabis, but the demons might have something. I heard the dying roars of Turendalin, the silver dragon, the protector of the city. At the same time, I felt a wave of unfamiliar power sweep over me from head to toe. I would advise you to go where Turendative perished and search for something. I'm sorry I can't be more specific, but intuition and a strange sense of rightness tell me to point at you. I found it in the square where Turendalin perished. What do you make of it? Even from here, I can feel strange energies emanating from this object. If you don't mind, I will examine it using my method. I will try to see the past of its owners, their emotions, and shreds of their memories, maybe to help us better understand what we are dealing with. Hunger. My many legs bring me into the lair, to my mother's festering hall. Her swollen body, overfilled with food, is so huge that I have to look at it with all my eyes at once. On top is her scrawny little head with a long beak that is always yearning for more food. Mother greets me with a placid screech. Stupid, greedy wench, whose only achievement is my birth. A creeping, wingless creature. It's your fault I have no wings, a symbol of greatness, a birthright I should have received from my mighty father. Mother points me to a crowd of whimpering subjects, suggesting I fortify myself with their pathetic flesh. Not today. I summon my spawn, and then fly to me, envelope me in a teeming cloud. Like dark buzzing wings, they fold behind my back and lift me up. Mother has always been stronger, but she did not expect this. I dive on her and rip her limp, bloated body with my claws. Ichor splatters. The bone spurs on my heels sink into her flesh. I clutch her pitiful tiny head and tear it off along with the shreds of meat. Victory! I am the strongest. I am the son of my winged father. Appalling stories like these are the most difficult ones to keep with me. Did this knife belong to a demon? Even looking at the wardstone is difficult. Despite the corruption nestling in it, it still has an aura of strength. Your fingers clutch the stone hilt so tight it hurts. A little spot in the flawless surface of the wardstone draws your attention. It looks like a butterfly. Corruption in the guise of something utterly harmless. But it will grow. You swing and stab the butterfly with the knife as hard as you can. Your fingers cramp painfully. A howl invades your ears. Light, white light everywhere. What was that? That was not the past. That was something that is yet to happen, or rather might happen. One of the roads to the future. And one of the possible futures, this item will help you to cleanse the wardstone, or to destroy it. Never before has anything like this happened to me. But now... But how? I'm not an oracle or prophet, or... Is this another riddle from the past that has caught up with me? I must find out. Seeing stories that have happened is one thing, but seeing stories that are yet to happen, I don't know why this is happening now. But there's one thing I'm sure of. This is not a coincidence. This is a sign of coming changes, great changes. I shared your vision, and the knife tempted me. Did you see what I saw? This has never happened before. Could it be the magic of the object that you brought me? I sense dark energies in it that can cloud and charm the mind. Be careful with this item. It may have tried to influence you, but you managed to overcome its power and subdue it. Or perhaps something else happened to us. Something we don't yet understand. Is what you saw destined to happen? No, the future's not set. It used to be a long time ago when the god Aroden guarded Galorian, but not now. Prophecies do not come true. Or they do, but not the way they were supposed to. I only saw one version of the future, one of the paths leading to it. But the choices have not been made, and our destinies are not yet set in stone. Who were you in the vision? I don't know. Someone strong and desperate enough to resort to extreme measures. I felt that what I was doing had to be done. Can you see the future? I don't know. Obviously I can, but nothing like this has ever happened to me before. The future never opened its secrets to me before I met you. Gods, who are you? Why have our paths crossed? I feel that is not a coincidence. Something monumentous is happening. Destiny is pushing us towards something. But what? Questions without answers. I swear this morning I couldn't imagine what awaited me. Maybe it's the knife that gives you the power of divination? The knife is a powerful artifact, but I felt that its power is of a different nature. No, I felt the same as I do when I tell the past. This is my gift, but manifested in a completely abnormal way. Your powers are amazing. A few minutes ago I would have agreed with you, but that thing that just happened, it disturbs me. My gift has never manifested like that. Something has changed, and these changes frighten me. Please examine the items I'm carrying. Perhaps one of them could tell us a story. Let me touch them, and I'll tell you what I can see. Powerful forces lie dormant in this sword. It used to belong to an incredibly bright and daring soul. Proud Trendolin, protector of Canavas, you devoted your life to serving people. Your death is a great loss, but maybe I will be able to find out something about you that is unknown to your many admirers. What a peculiar weapon. I sense an intelligence in it, but it seems dented. Aha, Grandpa Elf, watch whatever you're poking your finger. It tickles. An old thing, created long ago by divine will, but the power that gave it birth is lost in the darkness. However, the relic still lives on, though it has changed. I wonder what secret it is hiding. Would you like to know? Bring me 5 vials of magic essence, and I will revive this object, and with it, its story. Revive this relic for me. Oh, it's grayed out. I can't do it yet because I don't think I have 5 thingies. I think I only have 3 because I just used one to make a potion. I have to go. I wish you interesting adventures. Okay, so that's one long conversation taken care of. Let's run over here. All right. Are you all right? Abba willing, we'll hold out here until the army arrives. Whenever I sleep outside the walls of Defender's Heart, I'm plagued by terrible dreams. Can you help me? You're tired, but obviously entirely healthy. If you were anywhere else, I would simply tell you to get some rest. But we are on the border of the world wound, and I am too aware what's happening to you. As you know, the wound is a rift between Golarion and the Abyss, and all the evil that feeds the Abyss does the opposite in our world. It feeds on Golarion. So, it is that even when we cannot see demons near us, our ultimate foe, the Abyss, is already surrounding us. Many soldiers fighting in the world room experience similar things. They suffer terrible nightmares, get no peace, and sometimes even lose their minds. But we are trained to help with your affliction. By the will of Abadar, I have consecrated an altar here. The God's grace permeates the space around it, soothing one's soul and quenching thoughts during rest. So if you find your nerves are fraying, seek out a holy place like this. Approach it, and all corruption will be cleansed from you. Oh, so this basically tells us about the corruption. Tell me again about the Abyss corruption. And that's the same speech. Okay. I have to go. May Akabar aid you. And I'm probably mispronouncing all these names horribly, so I apologize for that. But now I need to find Where in the world our little fiend is? Maybe it will show me on the map. Erebeth, Aneva, Hilor, Storyteller. 4 Autumn Haze? I don't remember ever talking to a 4 Autumn Haze. There he is. He's in the kitchen. Let's talk to some of these other people here. Because there might be quests I'm missing. Oh, hey! See how they patched me up? Now I can run, jump, or dance a jig, if I feel like it. Are there any suspicious places in the city I should pay attention to? There were a couple spots I wanted to check, but I didn't have time. If there really is a den of cultists here, it would be good if you could swoop in there and bust some heads. You don't even need a search warrant. First one is the Silken Thread. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't have any orders and never buys any fabric. But they always seem oh so busy. They're busy with something in there, all right, but sewing, it ain't. Second one is the Alchemy shop, Topaz Solutions. And they trade in everything, not just healing potions. Judging by the ingredients they've been buying on the black market, there's something fishy about the alchemical rituals going down in that place. I have to go. So actually we got 2 new quests. And I don't know who this is, but I've never talked to him. Greetings, I am Hilor, Venture Captain of the Pathfinder Society. I am a superior officer among Pathfinders in this region of Mendev. However, the Society is running almost no operations here right now. Besides me, there's almost no Pathfinders here. Actually, I'm only stuck here because of an old feud with a demon worshipper known as the Spinner of Nightmares. I have to work alone, without the support of the Society. But I have a lot of acquaintance among the local mercenaries and daring fighters. If you need any good fighters for any honest cause, talk to me. Do you know anything about a Pathfinder named Finian Dismar? Let me think. Dismar. I briefly heard the name before. Of course you had. I'm a Pathfinder too. So now are you a commander in these lands? What about Lady Arare? When I left for the wound, she had just taken up the position. I'm afraid Arare perished during the Third Crusade. Yes, now I remember. Finian Dismar went missing in the wound at the end of the Second Crusade. His name has been on the list of the fallen for a while. Here I am, alive and well. Writing your list that I'm back, and soon I'll file a detailed report about everything that happened to me. I knew it was a misunderstanding, but now everything will return to normal. I need to write to my folks. They probably think I'm dead too. Poor lad. But such is the fate of a Pathfinder. We face the unknown, but sometimes the unknown wins, and our mind cannot take it. Tell me about your confrontation with the Spinner of Nightmares. It all begins with a task at the Pathfinder Society. I arrived in Nerosin with my team to investigate the sudden death of a famous crusader, Baron Falwaron. We soon focused on a small hospital for the wealthy, which Fallon was being treated shortly before his death. It turned out that a gang of Bahamut's cultists, calling themselves the Labyrinth of the Mind, had gotten a foothold at the hospital. I've actually played this module on pen and paper version of Pathfinder, so story's familiar. They were obsessed with twisting the minds of their victims and targeted fragile people too weak to resist. The hospital was filled with perfect victims, isolated for weeks from the outside world, completely helpless. And when they returned, they were different, almost normal, but the moment they heard a certain phrase, something dark awoke in their mind, and they transformed into servants of Bahamut, ready to lie, behave, and even kill. The Labyrinth of the Mind was preparing to infiltrate all the elite cities in Mendev, but Baron Fallon stopped them. He was too loyal to his oath and too resistant to their spells. He fought for his freedom until the strain broke his heart. He opened and cleaned every of Bahamut's pit of vipers. Their den was a cradle of sin and filth. They cast spells on each other, and their loathsome fantasies stepped real from their minds into the world. They dreamed of horrible and forbidden things, and they fought like mad. We burned the place to the ground and slaughtered everyone we could, but the leaders of the cult were able to flee and were set upon revenge. They abducted my daughter, Lori, who served under my command in the Pathfinder Society. They left me a note full of tart insults, mockery, and sneers. From that note, I learned the name of my enemy, the Spinner of Nightmares. A few months later, I confirmed that she was the leader of the Labyrinth of Mind. My hunt had begun. I would get Lori back at any cost. This would give us new hirelings. My companions and I need good training. I have a great mentor from Absalon. For the first few times, I'll train your fighters free. Okay, so this is how you retrain. Okay. I hadn't actually figured that out, so now I know. So we've talked to him. We've talked to him. We talked to him. We have not talked to them, but we need to talk here first. I want to get all the quests done.
Look, Chief, I got something to show you. Ta-da! A real beaut, isn't it?
Did you really have the amulet this whole time?
Since that night, Chief, Melround didn't even set eyes on it. While he was dealing with the golem, I sneaked past them, and that was that.
You've been searched by the guards. How did you manage to hide the amulet?
Thieves have their ways.
So you did betray the thieflings.
Oh, that cuts me deep, Chief. You and I saw who the traitor was. It's just that when we robbed the shop, I went in first and took what I wanted. Nothing wrong with that. Although, of course, I did think about hiding the moon and just taking myself off somewhere warm when all this blows over. But only because I want to see the world. Is it a crime to want to travel? Huh? Is that what counts for treachery these days?
Why did you steal the Moon of the Abyss? You wouldn't have been able to sell an item so rare anyway.
Why, she asks. It's expensive, pretty. And you know, it's my amulet, actually. Not meaning I stole it, but I mean, this is my inheritance. My grandma and I were poor. All we had was a jewelry box with the moon in it. She used to store it under the floor in the basement, and she'd take it out sometimes just to look at it. She was always nicer when she had a few drinks in her, so I could ask her things then. One time I asked where she got it from, and she said it was from a demon. You know, the demon who was my grandfather. He said the moon was to be passed down. My ma was good for nothing and nobody, so that's why Grandma decided to keep the amulet for me. She used to say it would be mine when I grew up. But she couldn't wait until I grew up. She squandered my inheritance when she became a drunk. Took it to Fileman's shop and pawned it. He gave her some coppers for it, and she didn't even haggle. Just grabbed them and ran back to the tavern before last orders. I've been going to Fileman's to look at the moon ever since I was a kid. He chased me away, but I just kept going back, so eventually he gave up. He didn't skimp on security. The place was like a fortress, so he wasn't worried about a street rat like me pinching anything. Even when I got more skilled, I couldn't get any closer to it. One day, I had no one to go with. Another day, there were only oafs who'd never stolen anything more than a church donation box. But when Charisme had planned everything out, I realized I had a chance to get the moon and move away from here. Maybe to Garand. I hear it's warmer there. I've stayed with the family for too long.
You deceived the people who considered you friend. That's not the way you treat friends.
Family, friends. You know, some people don't believe in gods, so gods don't exist for them. And I don't believe in family. All that heartwarming talk about sticking together. Ugh. People like to say those things, but when push comes to shove, Sister Charisme used to say that us tieflings were one family, and you see how that turned out. And did you hear that excuse for an apology? I did the right thing. And I was right to want to run when I just planned on stealing the Moon of the Abyss. Everything turned out as it should. Whatever you think, I owe you. I'm not just a thief, I have my own business selling things. Thanks to you, I'm still in the family. And we have the black market sewn up in this city. It's a good way to sell valuables. So, if you need anything, a scroll or something, just say the word. I have a little portal to our people in Nerosian. You put a note there, and you get what you need. I can't get you anything big, but what they do have is all high quality. Nothing's too good for you, Chief. What's mine is yours. For a price, of course.
Okay. Did I get rid of the heads? Yep. I'm pretty sure I put the head. Oh, we need to put this. So we need 5 magical essences. Or magical essences? Oh, I have 1 head on me. Oh, because I just slept. We'll carry 1 head around. Okay. So, who needs help with fire? Actually, I can wear a 2nd ring. Why don't I go ahead and wear the Storyteller's ring? Bing! +1 save versus fire. And I did buy a level 2 alchemist kit and a level 2 scroll kit, and I actually found I have someone who can make potions. So, not when we're on the road, only when we sleep in town, but that should be sufficient. Okay, and then we have this mysterious person over here.
As it should be.
That I've never talked to. I am Foreign Autumn Haze, at your service. Do you need help? Do not trouble yourself on my behalf. A local healer tended to me. Besides, I come from a resilient, hardy people. My body will endure both the wounds and the poison delivered through them. I am just seeing. You can trust me. I might be able to help you. It would be impolite to refuse such a direct and friendly offer. Who is your quarry here in Mendev? I was hunting a fugitive, a Scarite by the name of Kalesa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among my noble kind. I had managed to catch up with her in Cannabis, and I wounded her. Then demons appeared, and the city was engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle and ensured would free her soul from service to her dark masters. I'm sorry for your misfortune. I hope things will turn out differently. Next time. There's no need for pity. Our ancient kind is blessed with great longevity. We gain a deeper understanding of the world than other races, and we learn our lessons better than anyone. That goes for learning from our mistakes as well. I survive, which means I will be more prepared when we meet. I wish to aid you in your hunt. I thank you, but this is my mission. I'm used to facing all manner of terrors on my own. I do appreciate your willingness to help. If you happen to meet Kalesa, take caution. She has turned many innocent souls to the path of evil, and darkness has rewarded her with many gifts. Her appearance alone will tell you that. It is warped. The aged skin, the malevolent stare of her blood-red eyes, the bestial teeth. She's more monster than elf at this point. I need a 12, but I could possibly do it. What does this Kalesa look like? Her skin is dark, but her hair are preternaturally white. Her red eyes can see perfectly in the dark, which to my dismay, I've come to know from experience. Bright light causes her kind pain. I used an alchemical powder that explodes in a dazzling flash, and she cried out as if I had stabbed her. I have to go. Good fortune to you. I don't know if that was important, but... So we got 2 new quests that I want to do then before we head out. So let's go over here. See if there's anyone outside we need to talk to. No, but it looks like there's stuff to loot. I thought I looted it all, but this may be fresh loot. I don't think any of this is going to be important loot, but we'll get it all looted. And then we'll probably call it an episode. $1,254 gold. That's definitely worth looting. Special hops. Sharp claws. Bottle of oil. Coal. Card beads. Why is coal of interest to a collector? Why would a collector want coal? Well, maybe the armor I could see wanting coal for his forge. Show me your wares. Bulk selling. Deal. Okay. I don't think there's any great weapons we want. Nah. I mean, we could get the light crossbow of force. But I don't think it's that necessary. We need to save our money for later stuff. Okay, we will at this point call it an episode. So as always, if you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and give me a like or a comment. And if you disliked the episode, leaving me a dislike. Fine, but please leave a comment saying why you disliked the episode. As always, this is Spidey1958, and have fun gaming!